episode 15, part 2.
That's right. Let's do it again. Redo. Part 2.
So, yeah.
Remix.
Yeah.
We're back.
You want to tell them, my boy?
No hay banda.
So, yeah.
No.
Silencio.
Episode 15.
Yeah. The original episode 15, unfortunately, was Silencio.
The first one was the dream.
Yeah.
And this one's the shitty reality.
Hey, in honor of our boy David Lynch.
yeah, man. Could
I
be
like
better.
that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's a nice little spin. So,
So if you don't get our drift, we had an entire episode we just did, and we realized that
There were some
but
technical
we didn't
errors.
record that.
but
thing.
honestly, when we were discussing these movies before, we only got to the surface. Now, we're about to get deep.
We're about to get so deep,
okay.
way deeper than we
Sunset
did before.
Boulevard,
Okay.
1950.
Okay, Sunset
Mulholland
Let's
Drive,
go.
2001.
William
go.
Holden.
Let's go.
Rest in peace, David Lynch.
Rest in peace, my boy.
R.I.P.
Let's mix it up this time. Let's do Mulholland.
Oh, fuck
first.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
I rock with that.
I like
How'd you
that.
feel about the film? Just
So,
cut,
yeah.
cut to it.
Cut to
Yeah,
it.
did you like it?
I liked it.
Okay, I liked it too.
Kurt liked
Kurt
it.
liked it. I really didn't.
Okay.
But,
So,
Which is understandable.
yeah.
This is David Lynch.
But I want to see it again.
yeah, it's
He did his job.
so we were kind of getting into, I think I liked it because I mean, I think I understood it more. This was like
You
my
benefit
third time.
from, a
From
couple
the
more
rewatch.
I had
views
seen
for
it,
sure.
I had seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it
I feel like it's very hard to follow for a first time
is
viewer.
definitely a confusing
Yeah.
movie. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even just after the first watch, I felt more competent in what I had seen. But during the film, I had no idea what was going on for most of it. And,
I think if you also have a
That
curious
affected
mind by the end of the film, you're gonna want to know more about it. If it, you're either at two camps. You're like, I'm never watching this again, or I don't know what the fuck's going on.
simply
Yeah.
reading the plot written out, like in Wikipedia or something, not even good any analysis, just read the plot written out will really help you understand some of the
Absolutely.
narrative
It's like
devices
putting it
that
back
you
together.
might not even know it had existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because not knowing there's it is a dream within a dream, and then also a reality wraparound story. If you don't know that and you don't figure it out at any point,
You're
which I
lost.
certainly didn't, you're fucking
Yeah.
yeah. You're enjoying the weirdness and the David Lynch stuff, as far as I know, like what's his and the weird characters, but you're definitely gonna be lost.
Yeah.
Which
Absolutely.
is why I want to watch it again for sure.
So we had the cowboy. We
Now I want you to think
talked about
Love
this
this
guy.
guy.
and
Yeah.
stop being a smart aleck. Can you try that for me?
Very surreal character, kind of comes out of nowhere.
We talked about Angelo Badalamenti, who
The
is
music.
Mr. Luigi.
They'll
Nice
reach
little
some
cameo.
kind of climax, and I would go, and he said, "Oh, that's it. Oh, that's so beautiful, Angelo. Oh, that's tearing my heart out. I love that. Just keep that going."
Hey, we
Yeah.
talked about that dirty little mud man behind Winkies.
That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy.
That Joe's Garage cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tar baby.
That's probably like one of my favorite scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that sequence as just a weird thing that happens early on.
Yeah.
It had been spoiled for me, so I wish it hadn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that kind of thing in a movie.
What would you give it?
I was gonna say before. I mean, what did I give it? I gave it what, an 80.
Give it an
85.
85.
You gave it 85.
I thought it was
I thought I gave
89.
Sunset at 85.
You gave it an
That's what it
89.
was.
89.
I'm
I think I
yeah,
gave it
yeah.
89.
What were you gonna say before the rating?
Like the one thing that I think a lot of people, and sometimes it kind of is like the characters turning into other characters.
That's tricky.
That is like something that can kind of like
I see.
throw me, and I mentioned how that's kind of also something that happens in Lost Highway to an extent.
Right. Right.
I mentioned that like this one, Lost Highway and Blue Velvet, are kind of seen as like the
Quintessential.
the like
Some
kind
more-
of the best. With Eraserhead also, like there's not too much you can.
They're definitely some of the
Take
more
away with
widely
it.
talked about when he comes up for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of talked about how Tarantino and David Foster Wallace, that connection of David Foster Wallace saying it was one of his Blue Velvet was one of his favorites, and I think actually he was like around when some of Lost Highway was being filmed.
Interesting.
And he kind of talked about how Tarantino used a lot of Lynchian type stuff, but like made it more accessible and like kind of took the weirdness, like some of the, you know, songs that you would hear like years ago, or even kind of like using lesser known actors and actresses, kind of giving them that second life.
Yeah, I can see that. I gave it an 80. You know.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the 80.
I think it's required viewing. If you like cinema. My boy Mike, he didn't feel the same, but you know,
I mean, I definitely
that's okay.
I can definitely see it being required viewing for somebody just out of respect for a well thought of director who kind of carved his own path in the world. And it's definitely a movie. Going into this rating, there's a caveat about it being a first time view, and I guarantee you I'll watch it again. And I wish I kind of had back to back, or because I already kind of feel like I understand it more. And if I watched it, I would like it more. But my initial reaction, I felt like the movie made me feel like a stupid dumbass. And it made me feel like it was for people who are better than me. I feel like a lot of people who like this movie do think they are better than me.
That's what I'm
and that kind of pisses me off to think about. That being said, I respect David Lynch, and that's not a fair thing to hold against it. I'm going to give it I gave it a 51 the first time, but you know what I'm going to give it this time?
What?
I'm going to give it a 58.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because I thought about it in between the recordings, and it went up, and it really is. And there's a big-ass asterisk by that. I didn't know what I was getting into. I might have had a bad attitude. And just early on in the film, I just started, I guess, hate watching it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was just kind of not fair.
Okay.
But I feel like even when you're confused watching it, there's stuff that's still like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, but
it gives you...
That being said, throughout the film, there are things I enjoyed seeing and interesting moments, and even the stuff that I don't think is easily explainable, even when you fully understand the movie, were things I enjoyed a lot, you know?
Yeah.
But it just in this moment, it's just,
I respect.
I even like...
It is
like
what it is.
When the guy comes to his hotel... 2 guys from your bank came.
Yeah, that was an
They said you're
interesting thing.
maxed out.
He was just letting him know as a friend, too.
My bank.
Yeah.
I pay you cash.
Yeah.
What did he call? I pay you cash, Cookie.
Yeah. And the guy said, "Hey, it was just my duty to let you know, man." He's just
and
letting
then
know
he's
as a
the
buddy.
dude who like brings out the singer later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many like weird tie-ins. That,
Shout out to Billy Ray Cyrus.
yeah, he was great.
He was in this film.
Yeah.
Boy, Gene.
I don't know where that was in his career. Achy Breaky Heart. I guess that was the 90s, mid-90s.
This is the girl. This is the girl.
This is the girl.
Yeah.
All right, my boy.
No hay banda. There is no band.
On that note,
We'll move on to Sunset Boulevard.
yeah, move back in time,
1950.
which I'm not sure if it was this episode or the last episode, but I was saying like I felt like 2 David Lynch movies back to back would be a lot.
A little too much, man.
Unless like he did this one called The Straight Story that's like a Disney movie
That's what I was
with
reading
Harry
about that
Dean.
on his, yeah.
I've been wanting to check that out.
More normal
Like,
production for the company, yeah.
Check that shit out. Yeah.
Even Elephant Man, though, too. That's kind of
that's a pretty
Even though it's
straight.
black and white and it's about something, it does seem like more of a normal movie by most people's standards.
And I actually saw once that Kubrick was a really big Eraserhead fan, and that he showed everybody before The Shining Eraserhead.
I could see that. I mean,
Like kind of.
as a creative, I could see him appreciating that. I've not seen the film, so
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
And there's actually a funny thing where David Lynch is talking about where he had a chance to meet Kubrick, but he was afraid to because he had heard that Kubrick recorded every conversation around that time.
Really?
And he was like, I decided not to. And
Why was Kubrick doing that?
I don't know if that was even true, but that's
Okay.
what David Lynch said. And then he went on to talk about how much he loved Lolita, which is awesome, you know. But yeah, Sunset Boulevard, another one of David Lynch's favorite movies.
Classic movie all around. You hear about it a lot.
I absolutely adored this film.
Yes.
I loved it. I love these old timey movies. Like, is this in like, this is the Citizen Kane era? I would probably say around
Yeah,
this
definitely.
time.
I don't know when Citizen Kane was. That's a
I want to say late 40s.
Well, this is around like one of the movies I was thinking of during it, just because I was trying to put myself in the perspective of what was possible and what people were doing in film. Seven Samurai came out around this time as well,
Oh,
maybe
wow.
like 4 years after this or something like that. I didn't get the exact time.
like
but-
mid 50s, right?
Yeah. So this is when some like big powerhouse like directing stuff is starting to happen, and timeless direction styles and ideas are starting to pop
Those
up.
big productions too. Those
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
Hollywood productions.
Norma Desmond, played by Gloria Swanson.
Glorious, marvelous.
William Holden playing.
So old timey Hollywood. I love it. She's so representative of those, before the talkies came.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you ever see The Artist?
No, but the whole time I was watching this, I remember during the Academy Award talks around the artists
Yeah.
and stuff that people brought up Sunset Boulevard nonstop. I mean, it makes sense. It's,
I didn't even know that, but I really liked The Artist. It was pretty cool.
It deals with the same ideas of the talkies
Yeah.
kind of coming around.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Actually, she had a line that was like something like, "Y'all are so greedy, you got to look at me, now you want to hear me too." Something like that, I never thought about that shit.
I liked
that
how,
was new.
How talkies. She
Yeah,
was,
she's like, I just make facial expressions.
And she's like,
aren't my eyes enough?
Yeah.
He's
Which
like-
she's doing in the movie, but also speaking. Which
I
kinda-
am big. It's the pictures that got small.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
classic.
Sassy.
That was classic.
But yeah, she was actually like a star of that time back in the day. She had actually worked with Mr. DeMille, which was
Cecil.
cool seeing him.
Very Lynchian.
Cecil B.
Bringing back.
Oh
the
yeah,
old
Betty.
actors.
That's kind of like one
Yeah.
of the connections. All the shots at Paramount.
Nancy Olsen.
Once again, I'm kind of forgetting what we said in which
On the
episode.
topic of Cecil B. DeMille, he was one of many real life cameos alongside Buster Keaton and other people
Yeah.
I didn't personally recognize the names of, but it was like a list of like 6 people playing themselves on the
Yeah.
Wikipedia
Holy
page.
If we were around in 1950, we'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, there he goes.
I think I would have recognized Buster Keaton about 20 years prior, but I didn't see him in the film. I didn't recognize Cecil B. DeMille.
And
I
he
recognized
wasn't
his name.
like hamming it up or anything.
No, he wasn't fucking. Yeah, it was
wasn't
anything
making it
goofy.
known.
Yeah.
Did you guys like her little Charlie Chaplin sex strip tease?
that was cool.
She
Yeah,
was getting it on. in there.
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. I like the narration. I like all the stuff at Paramount. I really like.
I like that scumbag Joe Gillis.
I love Joe
Yeah.
Gillis.
Man, he's just a representation of everything I
Yeah,
want to be.
He was kind of a good, like, almost like neo-noir style detective character, but put into a skeezy screenwriter instead. He got himself into the same schemes, but then was just really a guy trying to rip people off.
And trying to get the skirts.
Yeah.
Being slick with it, too.
I didn't mention before that the Schwab's Pharmacy, that was actually like a real place that F. Scott Fitzgerald had a heart attack in 1940.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was like a known hangout.
People
the place
hang
where
out.
he like stopped to get the cigarettes and even the friend Artie, one of the trivia was like, he kind of is like, oh, you've been hanging with the rich people or the Black Dahlia suspect.
Oh, yeah.
That was something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that was like a famous actress who had been killed like kind
Right.
of recently. So
That was very recent at the time.
they were like referencing all of this like in the news.
That's hella meta.
Yeah, interesting. It's also fun to know that like just some celebrity had a medical episode somewhere. Like you're hanging out
Yeah.
somewhere, you're like, J.D. Salinger, he had a stroke over
Yeah.
there. He's good now, but he had a stroke
Yeah,
in
right
this,
in that seat.
in this hotel room on this couch. Yeah.
I did mention to you guys that like the Lot 18 before that
Star
was like
Trek
the
stage, right?
yeah the DeMille
Yeah.
stage and later
Yeah.
known as the Star Trek stage. Yeah, just like a lot of really cool stuff that ties it into like that old Hollywood. I'm sure you
I
And-
love the cinematography and everything.
Yeah, the cinematography and set production is pretty timeless, and
The
the black and white's
dialogue.
pretty timeless too. I mean, obviously a lot of people are used to color, but I feel like it gives you
oh yeah.
the same feeling of detail, really, if you're not going to be a prude about it.
Yeah.
Watching
Yeah.
something black and white really does.
Lots of detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like black and white. It's cool.
I think it looks great, yeah.
My boy Eric von Stroheim, by
Yeah,
the way, is
Max.
Max. Oh,
Max.
Yep.
such a great character.
Also playing kind of a meta role.
I saw that he didn't really
Yeah.
like this role or whatever. He was just like, oh yeah, that butler role.
Max didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he was too into it after it came out.
I don't know. It's pretty complicated. I mean, he's playing a
Yeah.
butler, but
He
he's
has
like
a lot of depth.
he's
kinda
like her
like the third-
previous.
He has a depth.
It's kind of like the third
Yeah.
star, you know?
Yeah.
He's her previous director, and when they fell down together, he kind of stayed with her in a new adjusted role. You know, it's kind of interesting.
And he's always like
He's the glue.
portrayed as
Yeah,
like
he's
the guy
legit.
who cares. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's also the one lying there about everything and like keeping her illusion going.
Yeah.
So like it is, you know.
Hey man, he's probably
Yeah.
part of the problem as well.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Seemingly.
But yeah.
An enabler.
All stuff that makes LA look really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for
Old
sure.
school LA is wonderful.
Yeah, the dream, the
Yeah.
misguided dream.
Yeah, no skyscrapers, damn near. That's pretty nice, man.
Yeah.
Tarantino's LA, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
This is a donut. It is very sweet
Rest in
and
peace.
very good.
Yeah. I think I had talked about how just David Lynch was, you know,
Inspired by.
yeah, like a very visionary guy who started out painting and you know, there's like this famous story that he tells of like being in his studio and like painting like a garden or like a tree lined forest or whatever and the wind moving and him thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to do moving paintings. And he actually did go on to do like
Moving pictures.
like primitive moving paintings before he actually started doing filmmaking.
Interesting.
Okay, interesting.
And just like he had this whole book, Catching the Big Fish, all about transcendental meditation.
Yeah, he was super into that.
And like yeah, his whole David Lynch Foundation and but just like listening to him talk about ideas and like how he's just like, you have to write your ideas because losing an idea just makes you want to die. Like he was serious about like his creativity and even stuff like I would hear like him eating the same meal every day at Bob's Big Boy, like kind of on like some Einstein type.
Yeah.
I want to only use my
I wear the same
brain
shirt,
for
Yeah,
for
don't have to
my
worry
ideas.
about thinking about what I'm eating.
Yeah.
What a guy.
He seemed like a pretty normal, nice guy too. With outside of all the kind of weirdness,
Yeah.
weirdness of what he made. He's a pretty normal dude. He didn't make appearances, and
Yeah.
we were talking about he was on American Dad, and he
Yeah.
wasn't above. He wasn't above, popping up and being himself. He was going to give you a Lynchian response, but
We
you know,
talked
he
about
would, yeah.
that time he was on Louis
yeah,
as like
yeah.
the late night coach. Really love that.
Yeah, that was. I wanted to rewatch that before this, but I just didn't have a chance to because that
Yeah.
was one of the main things I knew about David Lynch for the longest time.
And
Was seeing him on Louis.
And I guess he acted in Twin Peaks. Like, there's this one scene. I haven't watched Twin Peaks, but
in
there's
the
this,
return for sure.
there's this one scene of him and like David Bowie.
Okay,
where they're-
okay.
And like David Bowie's doing like a southern accent or something.
Interesting.
It looks really,
That's different.
really wild. But yeah,
Okay. Shit.
yeah. I would also recommend Lost Highway. Blue Velvet is high on the list for wanting to watch soon. I'm probably going to check out Inland Empire at some point.
Yeah, I'm down
Just
for
to-
Lost Highway. I'm just in there for Nicolas Cage. I mean, he's 1 foot in the door,
Yeah.
pretty much. But
Oh, Wild at Heart. Yeah, that's
Oh,
Nick
okay. Yeah, I was
Cage,
thinking
yeah,
of Wild at Heart, actually. Yeah,
that's the one with
yeah.
him and like Laura Dern and
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of over Lost Highway.
Lost Highway is the one that's like inspired by the OJ
That's what you were
murders. And,
saying, yeah.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's Richard Pryor's last movie,
What?
and it's got Robert Blake, the dude who like
he
actually
murdered.
like
He
shot
did a
his
little
wife.
murdering.
But yeah, we'll be back with more movies. I hope you guys enjoy this sort of abbreviated part 2
Yeah.
episode.
So
Go watch the movies.
Mistakes happen,
That's what I'm
things
saying.
happen. It's all right.
It's all
but
good, baby. On my
we'll be
screen.
back.
This is a donut. It is very sweet and very good.
There is no, there is no, there is no, there is no.
Now I want you to think
No,
and stop being a smart aleck.